voices of persons with disabilities. And tonight I am speaking to Mr. Taurai Kajiti, tikukurukura pamusoro pe-epilepsy, tichedza kubatsirana nekupanana dzidziso yekuti vamwe vedu vanenge vane condition iyi tinobatsirana navo sei. So someone is coming through our WhatsApp platform. Anzi, I have a son who has severe epilepsy. He is now aged 23 years. Kubulawayo. Okay, I think Saturday mubvunzo wake, but kana mune mimwe mibvunzo yamuri kuda kubvunzawo vakadzviti vari mustudio makasununguka kutumira pa 0719 100 404. Hanzi highest participate 87% yevanhu vane epilepsy. Hanzi program yamu all right, same. Okay, I think I get his point. He's saying why musinga tsananguri nechishona, why musinga tauri nechishona. I get your point. Yeah, but the whole point is we try and kuitira vamwe vaye vanenge vasinganzoshona naivo vasazenge vachiraskirwa. That's why tichisanganisa pano nepapo toisawo shona toisawo chirungu kuitira kuti tibate vanhu vakati one day. So you've talked about other conditions that can also mimic epilepsy, but let's look at the myths and misconceptions. Vamwe vanoti kuroiwa, vamwe they apportion blame kuna amai handiti kuti aiwa pane zvaakatoita. And how can we address this issue of myths and misconceptions surrounding epilepsy in communities atigere?
Yes, thank you. I think one of the biggest challenges and burdens that people with epilepsy face is the issue of myths and misconceptions of epilepsy. Kuti anenge avenging spirits, evil spirits, or your great-grandfather, that is how, the seizure is manifesting through that particular individual. So, like I'd earlier mentioned, kukangansika kwa uropi, kukuti magets anenge achirasika, and then sending my messages all over to all the 5 senses, hence you see the person jerking all the 4 limbs. So, tukuti epilepsy, it's not contagious. It's a medical condition, just like any other. Flu is contagious, epilepsy is not. Anzi ukabata ziyare munani epilepsy achigwina une numbu unogona kubatira numbu. So what we are simply saying is, let us be ambassadors and spread the gospel. And I think we would like to, thank Star FM for this opportunity. Kuti tisvike kumati ese enyika tichitaura pamusoro pedambudziko iri kuti aiwa hakusikuroiwa hazvine ine ma-avenging spirits or zvingangotaurwa mucommunity. Kukwara kweuropi women brain, ma-brain cells. So kukwara kuma-brain cells kunosiyana-siyana, ingave ka-accident, ingave meningitis, ingave ma-brain tumors. Saka zvinosiyana, or even yatinoti hypoxia, kuti mwana anonoka kuwana oxygen mu-brain, zvinogona kukonzera kukwara kweuropi, and munhu anobva developa epilepsy.
Anzine mumwe, good evening. Ndine mwana wemunin'ina wangu anoita pfari kana akarara manheru, asi masikati anenge ari right, anozvitsenga rurimi kuzara ropa. And then this one says, ndine munin'ina wangu anodonha obva okay, anzi anobva aita wet, anzi chinopera sei chirwere ichi, haabude furo hake. And then this one says, what will I do if my son's body temperature rises and he starts seizures? It happened before and I panicked. What should I do?
Yeah, I'll start with the last question. I think in your ndiyekuti ndavambise empathy utanga kuisa tauro nyoro kuti kudzora temperature kuti idzike. Reduce the temperature by, applying a wet cloth on the forehead or on the chest. And then, yes, like I mentioned, the various types of epilepsy. Some will not take maskati, either anotongetika karara. And the characteristics that we talked about, biting of the tongue, yagara and inoitika kune munhu ane generalized epilepsy.
Okay.
And there's not much that we can do. But the issue is that how are they, are they responding to medication? We have noticed that we have a challenge with people with epilepsy. They are initiated on medication, and then they never go back for reviews. They continue to have seizures, but yet our primary objective is to make sure that we stop the seizures first and foremost. So even if you are administered the anti-epileptic medication and you have a seizure, you need to go back. So that we try to, take the appropriate medication, because there is no one type of epilepsy that will require the same type of medication. Because of the differences of our bodies, we respond differently. So there is need for further management and further investigations for each and every individual.
Okay. And then sometimes they present late kuzvipatara nenyaya yekuti vari kuda kumboita tuma home remedies.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's your comment on that. Yekuti tiri kuda kumbotenderera pamwe tombononamatirwa kana kuti tomboenda kwakati nenyaya iyo iya yatambotaura yemamitsi yekuti munhu tiri kufunga kuti akaroiwa.
Yes, so that is one of the biggest challenges dambudziko ratiri kusangana nawo kune vanhu vane epilepsy iri kunetsa kucontrol, because chekutangisisa we don't seek medical treatment. Tinombotanga taenda hatisi kushora ma-religions or belief systems evanhu vanoenda kunanga kumapostori, kumaprofita, kumanapapa and so on. But what we're simply saying is, in fact, research says 80% or 85% of people that get early treatment can live a seizure-free life without having seizures or taking medication. And again, on the flip side of the same, for those that get the late treatment of the condition, they have an 80 to 85% chance of them continuing to take medication and having seizures. So it's always a challenge. But what we're simply saying is, regardless of what you believe, let's go to the nearest clinic, let's get medical help so that we try to manage and control these seizures. You'd find kuti vanozouya kuma-clinics either atotsva or atoamputatwa gumbo or zisiso haachisina or ruoko, and at that time it will be very, very difficult to control or to manage those seizures. So that's why we try to encourage people to, yes, as much as you have your belief system, but seek medical attention.
Mumari kubvunza nzi chirwere ichi chinorapika chichipera here. And then somebody says, my son had it when he was 2 years, was put on medication, but now put off a medication. It's almost I'm going to 4 now. I don't know whether it's 4 years or what. But kanonoka kutaura ndizvo here opane zvimwe anzi ari hyperactive.
Yeah, okay. I think that aningane not only epilepsy but with other underlying conditions besides epilepsy. Like for instance, vana vakawanda vane cerebral palsy, they normally have epilepsy, and also again vanenge very hype. Coming back to the last comment, sorry, can you come again to the last question?
Or the last question, anga chitaura kuti akanonoka kutaura, and then nekuti ari hyperactive.
Okay, yes. Yeah, no, like I mentioned, I think there's an underlying comment. Okay, the question that I really wanted to address was the issue of one, we are making reference to because when you look at me right now, do I look like this?
No, you're not sick.
I'm not sick, but I have epilepsy. So epilepsy is not who I am, but it's what I have as a person. Secondly, the trauma on the brain or pakakwara muuropi panoita a scar. So the epilepsy medication tries to normalize functionality of that particular area because the brain cannot heal itself, especially paniki paita scar. So if your body, lucky, if it is able to adjust accordingly and stop that abnormal electrical discharge, sometimes the seizures can stop and you can be weaned off. That is if your body reacts in such a way that it's now able to manage on its own without the support of the medication. So that is why we say if you get early treatment, the chances of the seizure stopping are also very high.
And someone is saying, is there a proper sleeping or sitting posture that you can put a person who is in a generalized epilepsy attack? And then the second question is, Anzi, we used to give my cousin some bit of sugar when she went into seizure. Anzi, what's the importance of sugar?
Yeah, I think this goes back again to the issue of myths and misconceptions here. There's no link between sugar and epilepsy. I'm even surprised to write on sugar because per first aid we encourage that you don't give any the individual in having a seizure either water, drink, or anything. We used to know that vamwe vanokwiza sauti, hanzi vamwe vanobatisa $10 cents or something like that. Those are just myths. Until the seizure suffices or painopera yega, that's when the seizure will stop. So regardless of mambatisa chi asumbofa swakamira. And when it comes to first aid, we don't encourage you to restrain movement when a munhu ari kuita seizure, especially the generalized, because they are jerking mwiri wese uri kugwina, ari kupfura makumbo, maoko zvese. Don't restrain movement, but remove all harmful objects so that haakware or arwere pane zvinhu zvinokwadza, or like kudonhera moto or kurova poto iri pastove. Remove all harmful objects. Kana asingakwanisi chimubvisai momuisa pasingakwadzi. Momusiya kusvikira apedza kugwina. Munomurarisa left side, not right side but left side. Kana apedza kugwina, mobva matadzisa muromo wake to the floor so that saliva and froth and blood zvinoita zvichirasikira pasi zvisadzokere kunomudzipa kana kumuchoka pauro.
Okay.
So it's on the left side and not on the right side.
Okay. And so besides stigma and discrimination, what other challenges are faced by individuals with epilepsy, including children?
I think kunyanya access to health, access to education. Vana vazhinji vane epilepsy vanzi achimboendai naye mozodzoka kana aita sei zvapera. And you'd find majority of those kids will never go back to school. So you'd find that these are the challenges that they face. Again, issue yeku access to medication is always a challenge, and it creates problems. And kana munhu, especially parents, they tend to become confused. They're not too sure what to do. So these are things that we feel the community need to play a role in making sure that parents and children with epilepsy have they have the right to access to education and health and other enabling environment.
Nguva dzedu ndo dzamanya 3 minutes to 9. We have run fast out of time. So how can individuals with epilepsy manage this condition? Mataura kuti vanofanira kukasika kuenda kuchipatara vonodini. Asi mararamiro acho ndabva kuchipatara. How then do I take care of myself?
Well,
just take us through that.
Yes, I think, well, my personal experience is that for the first part, you unenge uri mudenial, usingabvumi kuti ndozvandiri. And then once you accept that this is the condition that I have and this is the new normal that you are in, you need to adjust accordingly. There are now certain things that you can do, certain things that you cannot do. And through rehabilitation and support, you can overcome some of the challenges and become, participating just like an ordinary individual. Obviously, the medicines have, their side effects, drowsiness, sometimes weak erection or high libido, very low, depending on how you respond, and all of this, meaning that you need to have a balanced diet, which there is no special diet, there's no unless you have your usual allergies. But I know kuti vai vanomboenda kumanganga nemaprofita neche zvinonzi musadyire poto yakambobikirwa nyemba yakambobikirwa chakati mazai or usadye huko. That is just myth. The body requires especially calcium kune anti-epileptic drugs because it depletes the calcium in my bones. So we encourage a balanced diet, a good living, be positive, participate in the community just like ordinary person, compete, contest, do anything that you feel you can. The sky is the limit, and let not this condition be the limitation to whatever you want to do in life.
Okay, so someone is saying, why do you suggest Gorarisa Munu ne right side? Then, sorry, the second one, Anzi, what jobs or courses are ideal for epileptic people?
Okay, so we don't refer to people with epilepsy as epileptic. I have epilepsy, she has epilepsy, they have epilepsy. So there is no specific, I can't give a specific discrimination. As long as you are good at it. In terms of the UNCRPD, it talks of equality, it talks of reasonable accommodation. It is canary employment. It is at the detriment of the employer to create an enabling environment in which you can perform to the best of your ability. So as long you choose whatever you want, but at the same time take cognizance of the condition that you have epilepsy. To an extent also, there are certain things that you might not be intellectually able to do that will be required for a specific job that you require. But how then do you go around? Come up with alternatives. You look for alternatives. What is it that you can do? And so on. And then the issue of, because of the side heart, it makes, pumping of the blood for very easy to circulate to the whole body because the body was in a state of shock. So we need to send, blood and oxygenated blood as much as possible to all parts of the body.
Okay, and then Nzidomwe, thank you, presenter. God bless you. I receive. God bless you too. Baba Night Abba Headcliff, thank you so much. Kana mune mibvunzo makasununguka kuti munge muchibvunza vataura ikadzviti maringe ne condition ye-epilepsy kuti ndezvipi zvamunofanira kuita kana mumwe apinda mu-seizure. So let's look at the theme, commemoration this year, International Epilepsy Day. Not a milestone on my epilepsy journey. What milestones can we say we have achieved as a country in terms of addressing issues surrounding epilepsy?
Well, first and foremost, I would start from the individuals with epilepsy, especially with those that have lived experience. Personally, like myself, I've come a long way. You go through a lot of, trials and tribulations in which, some are bad, some are good. But at the same time, it's always important to continue, pursuing and forging ahead and become a role model in demonstrating that what the impairment that you have is not an obstacle, but it should, be a stepping stone to achieve greatness. And as a country, we are very much grateful on what the government is undertaking. We know there's access to free epilepsy medications for people with epilepsy. And but at the same time, there's more that can be done because, when it comes to human resources and infrastructure and equipment, there are a bit limitations and they are only concentrated in city centers as opposed to the various parts of the country, the 10 provinces, the state of Harare or Bulawayo. But we are happy that the Ministry of Health has started installing EEGs that are used in the management of epilepsy. But again, we need also to further increase the numbers of health professionals to manage the equipment, and also neurologists to increase the numbers, including other professions that we feel are important, like epilepsy nurses, to be introduced in the Ministry of Health curriculum for training for nurses.
Okay, nguva dzedu dzasvika pana 3 minutes past 9 takufanira kupeta chirongwa chino. But maybe just quickly, how can the rights of people with epilepsy be protected, especially in the workplace?
Yes, I think the coming in of the signing of the UNCRPD by Zimbabwe, and also now we have the Disabled Persons Act, the Disability Policy, and I've just been advised that the Disabled Persons Act has been gazetted, which is very, progressive in terms of the inclusiveness of persons with epilepsy in Zimbabwe. And I feel that with this, there's a lot of opportunities and rights that will be protected and considered by these acts. And we do acknowledge government of this initiative, or for making sure that it's inclusive for all persons with disabilities. Disabilities and epilepsy.
Yes. Someone is saying I get convulsions after taking alcohol and cigarettes. Is there any connection? And ibude furo kana kuruma rurimi asindogwina.
Yes, that is a very big no. You don't take alcohol. The interaction of alcohol and epilepsy medication is very dire, and to a great extent very serious. We don't encourage, in fact we discourage such, and it doesn't mean that if you don't bite the tongue or kubuda furu azvire kuti haisi epilepsy yoyo. So stop taking alcohol and first manage your condition. And we don't encourage people with epilepsy to drink or smoke.
And mumwe ari kubvunza kuti inopera here kana kuti ndezveupenyu hwese.
The nature of epilepsy is for life, but it is the management. We try to manage the condition through using the use of medication.
Okay. Saka mashoko enyu ekupedzisira vakadzviti.
Yes, chekutanga ndechekuti epilepsy hakusi kuroyiwa. It's not a weakness, hakusi a fault or pane zvakaitika muupenyu hwenyu. It's just a medical condition that affects over 50 million world over. So it is, I would encourage the society has a role to play in making sure that information is sent to all the various parts of our society, conscientizing that epilepsy is not a spiritual thing, but it's a medical condition. And again, society to understand and support people with epilepsy, be compassionate, and bring equality and giving them opportunities in any fears that they feel like. Because when you raise one, you raise many. They see opportunities that one, and know, I also have a chance in doing whatever I so wish to.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank you, Mr. Kadzviti, for making time to talk to us.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Okay, nguva dzedu dzasvika pana 7 minutes past 9. Ndinonzi siphatisiwe for it's a wrap tonight on the deep dive. Ndinotenda zvikurusa nekutandadzana nesu tiri pachirongwa chino. Panguva ino takuisirawo kuna Chihera chine softwares yamunoda. Ndinonzi siphatisiwe mpofu. I want to thank also my producers, Kathleen Muchena, as well as Meredith Ngidi, as well as Tonderai Moyo behind the scenes. Thank you so much. Ngatisanganei demuvuro shondorinoya.